Well, this is surprising. Earlier this month we got a brand new Death Note video game, and as a huge fan of Death Note, I couldn't be happier as I have a history with this franchise. First released in December of 2003 as a part of a serialized manga in the weekly Shonen Jump, Death Note tells the story of Light Yagami. One day, while looking out of his classroom window, he found a notebook on the floor. This notebook turns out to be a Death Note that it belonged to a Shinigami who dropped it into Earth purely because they were bored. The Death Note has the power to kill whoever's name is written on it. Light uses this Death Note to kill criminals as he believes what he is doing is justice and wanting to become a god to this new world. Meanwhile, we see how the police are trying to solve this mystery with one of the world's greatest detectives known only as L. In 2006, the manga was picked up into an anime series. I never read the manga, but I have watched the show countless times, both subbed and dubbed, as I truly believe both are equally amazing. As a middle schooler that was really getting interested in watching anime, and with Death Note getting tons of reruns on Adult Swim's Toonami block, I would become a die-hard fan of the series. I have seen the live action films and even read the Death Note spin-off novel, The BB Murder Cases. Another thing that I have is this art book by the artist of the manga, Takeshi Obata. I even got this neat wall scroll. And come on, any anime millennial out there has a Death Note you bought at an anime convention. I know you do, we all have one. I never watched the Netflix version because, well, honestly, I forgot it even existed, and I didn't think it would be good anyways. I seriously love Death Note, and it's easily a strong recommendation for anyone that's down for a thriller suspense show, even those that may not be into anime itself. But enough about history, let's talk about Death Note video games. Believe it or not, there were video games based on Death Note on the Nintendo DS, but they were only released in Japan. Killer Within is the first Death Note game to get an international release, but considering how old this franchise is, I'm quite surprised that we finally got a Death Note game here in the West. But then I realized, what kind of game are we talking about here? No doubt inspired by the success of Among Us, Namco Bandai went on to make Killer Within with a similar concept. Normally, I don't get drawn to these social games, but with the Death Note IP, it totally makes sense to give this a shot as a fan. After getting invited to play the game on stream by my good friend Soul Celeste, I figured we should go and give the game a shot and see how it turns out. In Killer Within, you have 4 roles that you could play: Investigators, L, Kira Follower, and finally Kira. Investigators have the most simple role. Simply keep an eye on the players while completing investigation tasks. This includes monitoring several areas, passing items to other members of the team, and questioning witnesses and NPCs around the map. L is a bit more involved as you are also disguised as an investigator, as you don't want to be targeted by Kira because if L dies, Kira wins. L has the same task as an investigator but has some exclusive abilities. For example, you can set up cameras on different parts of the map to keep tabs on everyone, can set up joint investigations to partner 2 investigators to make sure they do their tasks, and have an alibi if someone doesn't do their part. L also has command abilities such as helping identify different roles on each player to figure out who Kira is. L has the most power, but is also the most frail because as soon as Kira knows who's playing L, it's pretty much lights out. And now, onto Kira's team. Kira's followers are Kira's right-hand man as they're simply pretending to be investigators, trying to be informants for Kira. Their objective is to play the quiet game and steal IDs in order to provide them to Kira to finish off the investigation team. You see, since the Death Note requires the writer to have the name and face of those who they wish to kill, you will need to provide IDs to Kira in order to do the deed. One of the ways that this game makes you build a sense of anxiety is that whenever you're near another player, the game fills up this bar saying that someone may have stolen your ID. So you want to keep a distance because anybody near you could potentially be from Team Kira and try to finish you off.
Oh shit!
So you will need to keep tabs on everyone you encounter and know if someone has stolen your ID from the previous round. You also have a way to keep in contact with Kira by using a transceiver to pass along information and set up meetings. Just make sure you don't use it somewhere public where a witness can see you. And finally, let's round it up with Kira. Kira is the owner of the Death Note, and your main objective is to kill L before you get caught. Kira also has to do their thing by judging criminals with the Death Note, so while you're keeping your disguise as being an investigator, you will need to kill off criminals. Kira can also pass the Death Note to a follower if people start to suspect that you're the big bad guy. Passing the Death Note is extremely important, and you better do it in a quiet place because you can be spotted doing the transfer if you do it in a public area.
What the fuck? What the fuck was that? Oh hell no!
Now, if you feel like that you have too many eyes on you and need to make a distraction for the investigators to get off your back, you can activate Kira's command cards that make a distraction across the map, leading to investigators to stop what they're doing in order to focus on those Kira tasks. This is a great time to get some writing done. Once L's name gets written onto the Death Note, Kira wins the game.
Knew it.
Who was that?
Yo, we popped up.
I fucking.
Oh my
So
god.
it
I
was
knew
Soul?
it.
It was.
We popped off. Oh my god, it was Soul and Ruin. It was Soul and Ruin, wasn't it?
I knew it. Of course, I was right again.
It was Ruin and Soul, wasn't it?
No. Weird.
Oh, good shit, I fucking knew it.
It's Pepper and Soul?
It was me, Austin! It was me all along!
Oh my god.
At the end of each round, it's time to see what we have accomplished and time to deliberate on who the traitor could be. You see, each team has a progression meter that they're trying to complete before the other team does. This adds a second way to win the game and gives a time limit to make sure you get your tasks done before the other team does. Investigators and L can increase their meter by doing tasks like I mentioned before, and Kira's meter can be filled by killing off criminals and causing events with Kira's command cards. At the voting phase of the game, the first question you want to ask if your ID is missing, and only you know if your ID is missing. So you could be Kira and lie through your teeth saying that your ID went missing to remove suspicion on you and pinning it on some poor guy so that they could cast out on him. If your ID is missing, that means you had a run-in with someone on Team Kira, and you definitely want to mention that to everyone on the investigation team. At this phase of the game, you can vote if someone you believe is doing something suspicious, such as standing by a lot of investigators while you're doing your tasks in order to steal IDs. If the majority votes on someone, that person gets cuffed and searched for items. Their name and face gets publicized, meaning that Kira won't need their ID in order to do the deed. If they find someone's ID on them, they are immediately arrested and are removed from the investigation. But if they find a death note on you, Kira is defeated and L wins the game. However, if you are searched and don't have anything suspicious on you, you will be changed to that person that cuffed you, and only L can decide on who can arrest who. While chained up, you're stuck with whoever cuffed you into the following round. Oh, just like in the anime! While this may be confusing at first, after the first round you will be getting the handle of it in no time. But at the end of the day, it's all about how well you can convince people of your case and make sure you have an alibi to keep playing. I had a blast playing this game on stream with some friends.
I think Tyson might be a follower because...
What now?
Look, it says investigation, it says obtain Kira intel. And it says, I saw someone using a transceiver at the street near the classroom cafe during...
Yes, and I literally said I was using my...
It's him.
How? Like, I just, like, saying, like, can you guys hear me from afar so in case I say something say or see something suspicious?
Yeah, that's hella sus.
Only Kira and Kira follower have transceivers.
Yeah.
Tyson's one of them.
Yeah, he just outed himself.
I just don't know how the game works.
Guys, how do I use the death note? I don't know how to use it.
Rest in peace, bro.
Transceiver for, like, to talk to my Kira.
But I can't say the same with playing with some randoms. I am going to say this right now before I keep going. You need to play this with friends because playing with randoms online is absolute hell. Now, what if you bought this game and you don't have mutuals to play with? Well, the good news is that the game is currently popping with tons of people playing. Now, the issue starts is when you start hosting open rooms for people to join. For one thing though, the maximum number of players in a game is 10, but Bandai has a strange honor system to make sure people follow the rules. What I mean by that is that you could have additional people join a room with over 10 people, meaning that let's say players 11 and 12 join, they are automatically put into the players list and now the lobby is too full to start a game. Why doesn't the game just move these people to the spectator section is just bizarre to me. Instead, you would either have to kick a person out of the room or wait until they leave or become a spectator. And that's even including the people that join your room are just not shitheads. Given the game's cheap price and even cheaper if you have a PlayStation Plus subscription because the game is given away to you, some assets will join the lobby to do the usual griefing, like making loud noises and having some not so Twitch friendly names. Now as a host, you gotta juggle these asshats joining and leaving the room to make a nuisance of themselves. Thankfully, once the game starts, everything usually goes okay and people generally have a good time. unless you have a salty asshole that decided to rage quit, causing the game to end and bring everyone back to the lobby, thus wasting everybody's time. And I'm not saying I didn't have a pleasant time playing with some randoms, but I would not recommend you play this game alone on stream because you're just asking yourself to get a Twitch ban. So yeah, keep it playing with mutuals and you'll have a great time. What else is there left to say? I was pleasantly surprised on how much I enjoyed Killer Within. I was already interested in it as a Death Note fan, but this formula makes total sense for some good old multiplayer fun. I just hope this game keeps getting added on and adding more content in the future to come. In fact, on the writing of this video, we already got a new map added to the game. So let's wrap it up and say, get Killer Within. I say the $10 was worth it alone, but you do have the option to invest in these customizable tracks. To put it simply, it's 2 separate battle passes to get some cosmetics. Sadly, this game doesn't let you progress them both at the same time, meaning you will have to play enough times to fill out both of them, but the reward payout is a bit odd. Let's say you reach a level that allows you to pick one of the 3 cosmetics. Once you select one of the cosmetics, you will need to continue the pass to hit a later level in order to get the other 2 options. Personally, I was okay buying the pass for just getting the L and light skins because I really don't like the finger puppet defaults. I know they're fitting as they're coming from Nier, but each customizable track is $10 each. But there are some premium avatars that are $5 each if you want the sitting L instead of the standing L, or the last episode light, or even Nurse Misa Misa. Odd way to financially get more money, but whatever, it's purely cosmetic. I say get the game with some people that like this sort of stuff, as you don't need to be a fan of Death Note in order to enjoy this game. You can get it on Steam for PC, PlayStation users can get it with their PlayStation Plus subscription, and yes, the game is cross-play. Sadly, no Switch or Xbox port, which is sad to say, but maybe in the future that could happen. Get some friends and solve the mystery or become god of the new world.